welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Fixing Up the Commonwealth, and today we're going to work in this little area here. Yeah, I promised you this for a couple of weeks, and we're going to do something a wee bit different today, and as we get into it you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So one of the things that is missing in the settlement for me is we're going to get into the build menu and clear this and move a few things around. One of the things that is missing is a kind of place for the community to come together. So that's what we're going to build today. I do it in every one of my settlements. We definitely need a bar in this settlement, and it kind of fits with the theme that we've gone for, as far as this being a transitional type settlement that people can either come to that hotel there, stay the night and then take off, or they can come into the settlement and fix things up, do a little bit of trading, and then they can leave. So a community bar absolutely fits perfectly into the whole kind of feel and vibe that I want to go for in this settlement. So what we're going to do today, which I haven't done for quite a while, in fact, I don't know if I've ever done a video quite like this one before on the channel at all, but what we're going to do is we're going to show you from start to finish how we build this and how we decorate it. I'm not going to cut anything out. I'm not going to I'm not going to edit anything out at all, apart from when I have to sleep. That's the only time I'll edit, and everything else you see is as I built it, and you'll get a sense for how I go through with something like this, and how the decoration process, and how many mods it takes, how many items and etc. that it takes just to put this simple little area together. So you can see I've put a flooring down just as a starting point for the bar. I'm going to put that in now. I have the influence for today's build comes from something that I've seen quite frequently when I've travelled. I used to travel a lot into Asia, and I've seen bars like this which are kind of open air bars, and so that's kind of the starting point for me. I even thought I put that wall in the back there, and I was actually going to take it out because that's how open I wanted it to be. But I realised that I actually need that wall for a functional point of view, so I've left it in, and we'll build around it. So you'll see what I use the wall for in a little bit. There we go. So that's the structure of the bar. Couple of floors down, put a roof on. We're going to put some posts on here now, and so for some reason that first one won't snap, the second one will. I don't know why. Anyway, as you know, guys, I've stopped questioning why in Fallout 4 a long time ago. Okay, and that fits in there nicely. That van looks as though it's supporting it. Beautiful. We're doing well. Thanks for so much again. I say this a lot, nearly every time we come here, but this segment is and has been extremely popular, probably one of the most popular ones that I've run on Gaming for XP, so I'm going to keep it running for now. And you'd have seen by the update I gave about a week ago or so, this is about the only thing I'm going to do with Fallout 4 for the immediate future, and maybe some individual builds. Okay, so now I'm just blocking up these gaps like this, and like I said, we're going to do a build where I'm going to do start for finish exactly what happened. So you'll see kind of my initial thoughts. I drop stuff in, I take stuff out, I replace it, I do all that kind of stuff, and you'll see how that all works. I think it's probably very important for me to share this with you, so you get an idea that the way that I build, and the amount of I usually cut out a lot of the faffage, what I call the faffage, and you're going to see a lot of faffing around here, but it's part of the building process, and I think it's extremely important. So here you see I wanted to put these cinder block walls in, and I looked at that one that I just put in and said, no, that's a bit too tall, doesn't quite work for me there, so we're going to get rid of it and we'll put a smaller one in just to block that up. And what then happens as well here, that isn't at the right angle for me, so I'm going to use this. And I knew, you see I didn't scrap that because just instinctively, I don't know why, I knew I was going to use this for some reason, so that goes in there like that. And so we want to, when you're building something like this in the corner, utilizing the space is important. But the other thing that's very important is making sure that it is fitting in with anything that you've built before. And so I wanted to, that's why I want to keep this open field. Now, what we're about to do, so we get this is a workshop, do it yourself, and it has this counter like this. Nice long counter. I think it's, you know, for a shop or something, but I use it for a bar. And then I remembered that in Creative Clutter I have a bar that has pumps in it. Now, as it happens, I actually come across pumps much later in the build, and from a mod that I haven't used for quite a while. But what I'm doing now, and this is, I'm sure this happens to you a lot, I'm trying to find the piece that I want, and it turns out in the end I actually don't end up using this, but I've left it in because I come across this. It's like a fat man shelf, which is very cool, and there's some very interesting stuff. And this is what happens a lot with me with when I'm decorating, and ooh, see you find this kind of stuff that you didn't know existed. So when I'm decorating, I just scroll through menus because basically I can't remember where the heck some of this stuff is, and I'm sure it happens to you too. I'm sure it's in here, crafting. Yeah, there it is. So there we go. So I'm going to faff around with this for a while, and like I said, we don't actually end up using this, but it does. The reason I've kind of left it in is you'll see it starts to get the direction going where we actually end up finishing. So even though I don't use this, and the reason you'll see in a minute how this kind of transitions me to the next area. Now, these bars are great because you can see how soft they are. They're going to go into there. Now, the reason I don't use it is it's a different size. I don't know if you can pick that up on the footage, but it's slightly different size, and yeah, it just, I'm not real happy that it's just not working for me, and that's kind of because I know I've pulled that forward, so I can see that that's not the right size. So I decided to scrap this and go back to do it yourself and put another one of those in. So again, I'm flicking through now. You might find this a bit tedious, a bit boring, but it's important that I leave all of this stuff in so you can see just how long this process actually takes. Because you know, when I'm building, I cut out a lot of this. You don't, or you just don't see any of this in the final build. You just get to come and see the tour and go, yay, there's the tour. So it's always good to flick through whole lot of different mods that you've got and just see what you can find. Now, so yeah, you can see I'm thinking, I'm trying, and what I think I'm doing is I'm looking for these pumps, and in actual fact they're right there. If I flick back the other way, there they are, and these have a funny placement, but they kind of work. So I'll look at that and go, I like that. Yeah. Okay. See, they only go green at a certain point with that asset, and this is sometimes what happens when you're using different assets from different mods. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't like that. But the fact that I've got pumps now means that I can go back to do it yourself, find that one that will snap to that, and then we go back to Creative Clutter, and we're going to put those pumps on that side. So we're making progress, and so you can see the transition and the thinking that I've went, doesn't quite work for me, but it's what I want what I want to do as far as the functionality of the bar, the look of the bar. So now what I'm going to do is, so in that bar that I've just got rid of, that kind of caught that counter that I've just got rid of, there was a till. So I'm going to find the till which I saw in here when I was flicking through all the menus. And again, that's something else. You'll spot something and you go, oh yeah, I'll come back to that, and you can't remember what it is. Now, here's another important thing. So I've placed down that cigarette machine. I've found a better one that fits the look. So I'm going to get rid of that one. There we go. That fits the look for me a little bit better. And we'll just put it over there. We'll come back to that in a while. So now I've got to find this till, and this is what happens a lot when you're building. You're flicking through menus back and forward, but I see these cactuses and I go, I wonder if that will stick to the wall, because it's a kind of interesting element, and I can't quite tell if that's sticking to the wall or not, because it's green and it goes green when it sticks to the wall, but it actually does. So we'll just do that. We'll drop it in there. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. Creative clutter is great. I'm a lazy decorator, so creative clutter for me works extremely well. There it is there. That's what we want. Put that in there. Put it in it at an angle also makes it a little bit more interesting. Well, that's what I feel anyway. And so we're making some progress now. I'm going to go to containers in Creative Clutter, and this is a great model. It's always been updated, and even now flicking through for this, I'm kind of finding things that I didn't even know. So this is a cryolator box, and this fits perfectly. I just got to find whether it's going to snap on there. Yep, that fits perfectly in there. And then we'll put another shelf on the other side, but that's going to be something we're going to build. And this is what I do. I'll just flick through and find assets that will work with a particular build, and I'll just drop them down, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to use them a little bit later. A little bar fridge, that can go in the corner there. Yep, go on. There we go, drop it like that. And you can see we're starting to get somewhere. We're starting to layer things, and I got, oh, icebox. Would that fit in there? Yes, it would. It's not going to go in naturally, so we're going to persuade it in, but then it acts as a kind of wall and blocks up that bit there. So that works perfectly for me. We do that. Just drop it in like that. It all kind of works for me. So I'm just running through now and just figuring out if there's anything else here that's going to be work with the bar. If not, we'll move on. So I've done a little bit of recording in Fallout 76, and I think what I'm going to do at the end of this settlement build, I'll put an additional video out, and what that video will be about is I'm going to show you the areas in Fallout 76 that influenced me for this build, and so you'll get to see at the end of this whole process where my creative influences come from. That big word there. So that'll fit on. It sort of will, sort of won't. So I'm just going to persuade it into place. Now we have an issue in a minute, and I'll show you what it is. So that will actually fit on there. Now I'm going to angle it, because angling it is going to make it look a little bit more interesting. If it's flat, it's one dimensional, and you really don't get the feel for it. Anti-shimmered that. Now here we have a problem. We can't pick that up. See, we can pick it, it only highlight. Now you can see below it that yellow stuff, that kind of debris, and what I do is I actually end up scrapping the debris like that, and watch, boom, I can pick that up. We're going to drop that on there. We have to tweak that in a while, but a lot of the time I'll just drop stuff in place and then I'll tweak it or fine tune it a little bit later in the process. So it's all starting to come together fairly nicely now. I'm liking where it's going. We'll drop all these stools in. These are kind of Red Rocket type diner stools, but I like them for a bar. They kind of work. There we go. Beautiful. Now you will see a little bit later in the process that straight away the settlers come in. One of the settlers come in and sits down in this bar, so it works very well. So now what I'm thinking about is, okay, how is this all going to be lit in? Is there some stuff we can put in to light the way to the bar? And we do use a range of lights in this, and again, your lighting can be a very key component of selling the legitimacy of the bar, the way it looks, and you know, how it interacts with the rest of the settlement. So I'm going to put a couple of those in. We go for a number of lighting setups here, and like I said, lighting it's something that a lot of people don't talk about. I know Nacho Business, if you haven't seen Nacho's channel, go and check it out, but he does a lot of work on lighting setups and whatnot, and it's very important in Fallout. Now, here's something that doesn't work, but I'm going to show you it anyway, and I can't remember the mod that this is from, but you can see you've got lots of little optics here, none of which are sort of kind of work, but I've left it in so you can kind of sort of see. So there's the taps now, but what it does is it gives me, ooh, I've got another little asset here. Where can I put that? That fits on the shelf there. Excuse me. And you can see we're just adding layers and layers and layers, and we're using lots and lots and lots of different mods. And so, you know, this is all improv. Never thought about putting a shelf here, but because I found that one asset, I'm going, okay, we'll put a shelf there, and then we're going to go back to those assets that we just found, or items there, and we're going to put that up there. Now we end up not putting those, we put them up there and then we take them off, and weirdly enough this one here won't again, and it's something that's been happening in Fallout for a while, since probably about last November, and you know, with the wall that we've got in the settlement, it's happened there too. Whereas I've put an asset down and I can't pick it up again. Bethesda, come on, get your act together and fix it up. And one of the other things that's very, very annoying is the thing that is happening with the mods at the moment. Now, if you don't know, with the mods, when you're downloading mods, you're getting more and more often this operation could not be completed, and it stops you downloading mods. So I've put a couple of fix videos up, one of which when the last update to Fallout 4 came through, they patched the fix, but they didn't fix the problem. See, I can't grab that asset. And so, come on, Bethesda, you need to get your act together and show Fallout 4 some love, because there's been a couple of bugs introduced in the last couple of updates, and you know, it looks like they're not focused on Fallout 4, or they're not watching close enough for Fallout 4 at the moment. I don't know if that's the case, but that's how it feels. And certainly there's been some theories. I know from the fix videos, there's lots of people in the community that have been helping with comments and saying your fix sort of worked for me, but I had to do some additional steps, etc., etc. One of the comments that was made, or a couple of comments that were made, is they just wonder whether Bethesda has now reduced the server capacity on Fallout 4, and hence we're getting these bugs coming in. So, you see, I put those lights in there, and I need to light them up. So I'm going to use this solar powered generator. I'm looking for somewhere to put it, and lo and behold, it fits on that truck perfectly, and there you go, it lights up the bar. These are fairly stock standard lights, I think come with the game, but you know, you can see how well they illuminate the bar now, and yeah, it's all starting to come together and start to make sense. So it's getting night time. I will sleep in a while, and here I get distracted. So we're going to cut this bit out because this has got nothing to do with the build of the bar. So yeah, I found that asset and I went off and dropped it on one of the residential houses that we built last week. That's sometimes what happens when I'm building. I find an asset and I go, ooh, I like that. I'm going to use that, and then yeah, off on a tangent somewhere. Okay. So again, we're in creative clutter. And I see, strangely enough, in the lighting, I see that those cards. So I'm just flicking through and just seeing what's kind of interesting, and then I go, okay, better get on with the build, otherwise this is going to be an hour long. So now what I want to do is I want to put some Christmas lights in here, just to light it up. So I'm looking for them. Again, it's one of those where I'm going, I sort of know where they are. I just got to try and remember. So the first one I come to sort of doesn't work for me. So flick through. It's always good to just flick through in the menu before you pick the one you want. But yeah, sometimes I'll put them in and then find a better one and go, oh, dope. There we go. Put those in. Yep. And again, based on where I started and the idea I had in my experiences, these lights that are those kind of string lights that are repeating and coloured would be in the bar that I'm basing this whole build off. So going to put this table here now. We went back to Mikey and myself and Nacho went back to Moss Town last week, so I could do some recording. And one of the things you'll see when I come to showing you what inspired me to build, and when I put that video out, is that Moss Town uses a lot of the kind of environmental elements mixed in with wood elements. So you know, there's a lot of stuff that's built using dirt and long grass and incorporated within that build. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just moving these seats out a little bit, because if the settlers come in, they might not be able to get in to sit down. So that's what I'm doing here. Just move these seats around so the settlers can come in and use this, without any trouble. Okay, so get somewhere to sit at the bar, or get somewhere to sit down. And if you're going to sit down, maybe you're going to play cards or something. And if you remember, a wee bit ago we went to the lighting and power, and we found there was a set of cards there that was under the lighting tab, and obviously because it has a candle incorporated into it, that's why it's in the lighting tab. So I'm going to drop those down like that, and we're going to build on that. So you know, people come for a drink, they're playing cards, they're doing whatever. Okay, so we're making good progress, and we're probably going to go and sleep in a bit and come back. And there you go. You can see we're just adding and adding and adding until I feel it's right. And so I always kind of flick through the menus, see what kind of works, drop them in. You don't always have to use them, but it's just kind of process of building the items you're going to use up. So I like these candles in the Nuka-Cola bottle, so I'll drop a few of those on the bar like that, and you can see it's really starting to come together now, and it has a vibe about it, it has a feel about it. I think it helps because we're at night time and we can see how it all kind of works and lights up. And now what I'm in Dino's Decorations. This is a great little mod that I've used for a long time, and I use it for pretty much use it for individual items. So I like this basket full of spirits, but I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, and you'll see in a minute where I actually eventually put it. I'm going to go around behind the bar. It's not going to sit up there, because that's sort of where I wanted it to put it, but that's not where it ends up. And I could use place it anywhere, but it keeps flicking up, so I'm going, couldn't be bothered with that. I'll just check it on top of the ice machine, and that's where it ends up. It is floating a bit, but I do fix that up a little bit later. Oop, here we go. So I like where this is going, I really do. Again, with Dino's Decorations, I put this kind of caps checkers game in to fill up that table. An ashtray, I always put an ashtray in my bars, ashtray and lighter. It just, you know, if you've been in bars, well, I guess nowadays it's a bit different, but when I was younger, you know, the bars, they were actually allowed to smoke in the bars, so It'd be smoke filled, it would be lots of noise, lots of booze, and etc. So here is a decoration and furniture mod that I use quite a bit. This is a great mod if you haven't got it, but I use it a lot for this kind of stuff. So beer bottles or it has a whole range. You can see there's a whole range of spirit bottles and beer bottles and all kinds of stuff, Nuka-Colas and all kinds of stuff there that you can use. And I use this a lot, this particular mod, just for this very purpose. It allows me to drop some of these kind of assets in. So you can see there's a bit of a dead spot there on the bar. So here comes one of the settlers to check out the new bar. So I'll have to use place anywhere there. Here we go. We're going good. Oh, what's that doing there? Yeah, I'll tell you what, we'll just leave it there. Yeah, that kind of works. Maybe he's bought it from the bar. There you go. He's having a nice seat down there, checking it all out. He likes it. And okay, so we're going to go, I think, to Better Stores now. Yep. And Better Stores has a whole lot of neon signs. And it's probably the last thing we're going to do before we go to bed and have a sleep and come back. But the bar, see these little touches like this will just make the overall look of the bar legit. So we're going to go and sleep in a sec and we'll come back and finish this off. So my bird chorus is back with me. I can hear them. They join us on the channel quite frequently. And so this is looking pretty good, but I like the look of it in the daylight, which means in the nighttime it's just going to be awesome. So we're going to just tweak this a little bit, push that across a little bit. Ooh. Sometimes if you turn them slightly they'll go green. There we go. And there really isn't a lot more to do here. Now, one of the things, ooh, see I put that over there. That's just going to act as a wall now. Look like that. There you go. That works. Now, one thing I didn't know was going to work, and so I put that palette there, and I wasn't sure if it was going to work, so I just tried it. Is this the beer sign will actually just attach itself to there, like that. Just another little touch. So one of the things that I was thinking about doing is putting a red carpet in here. Why? No idea. So I remember there were floor coverings or rugs that you could use in Snappy House Kits. Now, I end up not finding them. I end up using another one from Workshop Rearranged. But again, just a quirky little kind of element that I decided to add to my bar. So I get out of this, go to Workshop Rearranged rugs and drop a dirty red carpet in there. Walk the red carpet to the bar. Just another element to put in. Now this will be sitting a little bit off the ground. I actually do fix this, but I don't think I show you me fixing this. And not that one, that one. There we go. Cool. Now you can see it straight on there. I prefer to angle it like that, and I use place anywhere just to nudge that down into the ground later. But like I said, I don't show you. And so there is a little piece of furniture that I add to this to make it give it a sort of nightclub vibe. You gotta wait in line, and it just frames the entrance here a little bit. And yeah, it works for me. Maybe it doesn't work for you, but it certainly works for me. I like it. It's quirky, and we're getting very, very close to the end here. And then what I think, I'm kind of going, okay, have I done enough? Is it? My feeling is I'm pretty close at this point to the finished item. So, but there is one little thing, and I don't know why I do this. It just feels right here. You can see there's a little bit of a gap between the end of the carpet there, or the end of the rug, and the kind of floor of the bar. So I'm like, what could I put in there? Let's put a little bit of plywood in. And it sort of works with the vibe of the overall settlement to do that. And you could actually do a little path with different bits of ply on top of on different, you know, all the way through on that carpet, just to give it another little bit of dimension. But there we go, just a little fine point. So there you go, guys. I think we're pretty much done with the bar. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the process that I go through. I know a lot of you enjoy the videos for that very reason, that we just we take you through in a lot of detail and show you step by step how we build. I guess this is more about building and then decoration today, but it's a very important part of making your builds look realistic and kind of working and believable. I like that top that has the different Nuka-Colas. I hadn't even noticed that until I come behind the bar. And this is a view you generally don't get. We're behind the bar there, that kind of works. Everything's kind of... yeah. So there you go. Mission accomplished. We fixed up this corner, and we have now got a little community hub where they can come in, they can do whatever they need to do, and then they can come in here and relax before they go to bed. There you go. So thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the series. I hope this has been informative and you've enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time on Gaming for XP. See ya!